Daf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph, right after the Mishnah, the beginning of the Gemara. In the Mishnah, we learned that there was 13 hishtachavois, keneged the 13 shorm, the 13 gates. Maslisen Abayisa ben Yechnani. But this is the opinion, the Gemara says, of Abayisa ben Yechnan. It's not a unanimous opinion, it's that the das of Abayisa ben Yechnan. Tamar keneged shleisha asar shorm, who says that the Shtachavoyas were connected to 13 gates. Baram, according to the Rabbanan, Baram, Kerabanan, Shiva, Shorim, Hayabazora. But according to the Rabbanan, it's not connected to the 13 gates. There weren't 13 gates. There are only 7 gates. So the Shtachavoyas were not connected to the Shorim. What were the Ishtachavoyas? What did it correspond to? Al-Taitai the Rabbanan, Heichnayu Ishtachvos. Where were these Ishtachavoyas? Gemara says, "Ki the Tanina Tamanla." We learned in a Mishnah, like we learned in the Mishnah, Mida is Shleish Esrei Protzos Hayubai. In the Seirig, in the lattice fence around the walls that were around the walls of the Azora, it was a Seirig. There were 13 Protzos Hayubai. The Greeks made 13 openings. They broke into it in 13 places. Sheparza Malcha Yovan. That the Greek kings broke it open. They made the pirza to allow people to come in, goyim to come in, tamim to come in. And the Hashmonai, so the great victory in Nesu the Hashmonaim, they were able to overtake the Greeks and to close these pirzas. And they were geyser 13 ishtachavois connected these 13 places to show the nays to show Haido to the Rebbeinu Shalom. We learned in the Mishnah that Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov said that Mosid Lovai, the water will flow from under the threshold of the bayis. Ksiv, so in reference to this nevuah, to this Osid Lovai, what will happen in Osid Lovai? It's written, as it says in the pasuk regarding this in Zechariah. It says, "V'hayo b'yamahu yetzu ma'im chaim Yerushalayim." And that day, Losalovai, that spring water will flow from Yerushalayim. Tani will learn their ba'ismi beis kadosh kadoshim ad hapareches kekarnei silei v'chilai. It says it will start off as something very, very, very thin, very fine, hardly discernible. So it starts from the base Kodesh Kadoshim. So until it reaches the place of the Paroiches, it only has the thickness of the so thin, it's like the antenna of the Silai ve'Kiloi. These type of small snails, the antenna of them, which are so narrow, so fine, you can hardly see it. But then, as it flows out, as it goes beyond, as it goes further to the east, it will start to widen. So, mina pareches ad mizbach azov ki karni chagon. Then it widens and becomes the width of the karne, the locust antenna, which is a little bit wider. Mizbeach hazov ad azora is from the mizbeach hazov till it gets to the zoras. It widens further. Kechut shel shes. It widens till the width of the chassis of the warp. So in the loom, when there is the weaving, there's the chassis where the vertical ones, and the orb that goes back and forth. The chassis is narrower than the orb, so it will only be to the width of the chassis. Mina Azoras ad miftan abayas, from the Azoras until the threshold of the house, it is kechut shel erev. It widens a little bit to the width of the erev. From that point, it will widen till the opening of a pach, of a flask, the opening of a pitcher of a flask. See, regarding this stream of water, it says, "Vine my mefachim min hachosef hayomanis." It says the water will trickle from the right side of the bais, and then it says, "B'tzeis." Further than that, it says, "B'tzeis hoyish kadim." When the man comes to the east, become biyadoi, and he has a measuring rod in his hand. B'yomet elef ba'amah, he measures a measurement of 1,000 amas. V'avirein v'mayim me'afsoim. He passed me across the water, and the water which was me'afsoim, the ankle deep water. So it started to get deeper as it went further on. It started to get deeper. So that means ad kursa ad karsula, that it was at the distance of 1,000 amas, it reaches the ankles. Then, as it flowed further, it says vayomer elaf, and he measured another 1,000 amas, v'yarva mayim birkaim, ad birkaim. He measured another 1,000 amas rather, and then the water got deeper. It got the depth of the knees. Then vayomer elaf v'yavrein masnaim. Another 1,000 amas were measured, and it got deeper still, and it got to Admasnaya, to the waist. Mikan va'eleh, from there on, the water became so powerful that it was Vayomen Elef Nachal Asher Lo Yuchal Lavar. Another 1,000 amas were measured, and then the waters were so strong that you couldn't even cross it. Even with large ships, you could not cross that body of water. My taima v'tzir ader loy yavireni. Why do we say that? On what basis do we say that? Because it says v'tzir ader loy yavireni. It says even a mighty vessel, mighty ship, can't cross it. V'pneima. Why is that? Ki go amay meisacho. Because the water, it says, the water grew and swelled so much that it was meisacho. Mal meisacho meloshut. It was waters that you can't swim across, that you can't cross. They were so powerful that you couldn't cross it even by swimming. Soch. Amravuna ba'ashin koro l'shayota sachne. He says in our place they call swimming, they call it sachvana. So that's a reference to it can't be crossed. Swimmers can't cross the water. We see this definition from the following pasuk as well. It says that in the Yosef Lovay, Ben Shem will destroy Moav. His hand will be stretched out against them, and like the stretching of a swimmer, when a swimmer stretches, he swims, he stretches out his hands. So you see over here from the pasuk that it's a reference to Soicha as a swimmer. Mao lischais. What does it mean lischais? So we darshan that in a manner that it doesn't mean a swim. It means a drasha. We darshan. Amar Yosef Rabbi Bun. He says miyayin demisalman ba'alma. The lashon of lischais, to speak about. So it says in the pasuk, "Peres yoda b'kirba kasher yifres aseicha." Lischais will be something that will be spoken about in the entire world. Lashon of sicha, of speaking. That's how he darshans it. Continuing on with this stream of water that flows from the Kodesh Kadoshim Lasud Lovayik Sea, Bayomahu Yeh Makor Niftach LeBeis Dovid Ul Yosh Yerushalayim L'Chatas U'Lenida. It says on that day it will be a spring that will be for the people who live in Yerushalayim for a Chatas and a Nida. What does it mean for Chatas and Nida? Rabbi Shmuel Baranach Mishem Rabbi Yonasan, he says Beis Dovid Va'ad Yoshvei Yerushalayim. He says from the Beis Hamikdash till the Yerushalayim, to the extending out to Yerushalayim. So to the inhabitants of the Yerushalayim, this water will be ksherim l'nida l'chatos. This water will be kosher for a nida and for mechatos. It will be considered to be spring water, ma'im chaim, which can be used for a nida, but it can also be used for mechatos, for the waters that are mixed with the ashes of the paraduma, because it'll be considered spring water. Mikan ve'ilech metarus, and from that point, the waters of the spring water will be mixed with rainwater, and therefore they won't be considered to be mechatas, kosher for mechatas. They won't be considered to be ma'im chayim, spring water, and therefore they'll be ksherim l'nida, they'll be kosher for tefillah of a nida, upsulim l'mechatas, but they'll be posel l'mechatas. Amar Rabbi Lazar, he argues, he says, Mi Beis Dovid Vad Yosh Yerushalayim, from the Beis Dovid until the inhabitants of Yerushalayim is Kshem L'Nidr L'Chatas. Yes, it'll be kosher for Nidr L'Chatas, but Mikan Ve'ilech, but from then on, May Kat Frisin, they're waters of the slopes, meaning, as one shot is, they put boards on the mountains, lined it so that the water will flow down. And therefore, psul l'nidr l'chatas will be disqualified for nidr l'chatas, because that water will be considered to be mei she'uvim, and it won't be considered to be rainwater, and won't be considered to be ma'im chaim either. So therefore, the waters of the Mayan, of the spring water, the Mayim Chaim, will be mixed with this water, which is considered Mayim Shuvim, and it will be drawn water, and will be not kosher, not for the Meicha, not for need either. According to the first pshat, it's rainwater. It'll be mixed with rainwater, which is kosher for Anita, but possible Meicha. According to this pshat, it'll be possible for both. Continuing on with this spring of water, he says these waters go out to the Galila Kadmoina, the eastern Galil. Yam Shel Samchu. This refers to the Yam, the sea of Samchu. The sea, it's a Yam, it's a body of water that is in the area of Tveria. It's some say that it's referred to what today is called the Yam of Hula, which is a very small body of water, but it's a pasuk saying that it will go to the Yam Shel Samchu, and meaning that the Yam Shel Samchu, that body of water, will be an increased, significant body, relatively speaking, a body of water. And it says V'yardo al ha'arav, it will continue on and go to the plain and say Yam Shel Tveri. That refers to the Yam Shel Tveri, that is the Yam Kineres. Uboa Yama, then it will come to the sea, Yama Melech, that refers to the Yama Melech. Ela Yama Hamutzoim, and it says Yama Mutzoim, the Yam that's expanding, is the Yama Gadol, that's the Mediterranean. Veloma Nikra Shemoy Mutzoim, why is it called Mutzoim Keneged Shtepam? She also, it's a reference that in history, 2 times when it overflowed and it expanded. Echad Bedor Enosh, one at the time of Enosh, the grandson of Adam Arisha, they started to be Ovid of Edisora, the waters overflowed and flooded. Ve'echad Bedor HaFloga, and one time at the time of the Dor HaFloga. Rabbi Lazar B'Shem Rabbi Chanina Bria Shaina Yatsa Ad Calabria. The first time that it overflowed and expanded, it reached all the way to Calabria, the southern part of Italy, Calabria. Oveshnia Yatsa Ad Kipe Barbaria. And the second time it expanded, it reached the Barbary coast. The Barbary coast on the coast of Africa by west of Egypt. So that's how far it reached. Ravach B'Shem Rav Chanina learns differently. He says Barishani Yatsa Ad Kipa Barbaria. The first time it reached the Barbary coast. Oveshnia Yatsa Ad Akka Vad Yafa. It overflowed into Akka and Yafa. Why do we say that? What's the remiss to that in the pasuk? Because it says Ad Poisava V'Lo Yisosif. It says you should reach here and don't go any further. Ad Akai Tavoy V'Lo Yisosif. You reach until Akai and don't go further. Ufo Yashis Begoin Galecha, and here in this place you will be boast about your flaunt, your covet, your majesty. Ad Yafai Ashis Goin Galecha. The Adpai, we learned it, we darshan Adpai Yafai. Ufoi Ad Yafai. Until Yafai, that's where you will flaunt your majesty, meaning you will overflow and you'll show your power. Adpai until Yafai. Nicha Yama Rava V'Yama Demilcha. We understand why the spring went and it will flow rather from the base of Migdash and reach the Yama Melech and the Mediterranean. What's the purpose of that? Bishvil alamaskan, to sweeten their waters. These are salty waters, and the spring water, the sweet waters of the spring water will flow out there and sweeten them. Yama de Tvera, Yama de Samcho. But why will it go out to Yama de Tvera and Yama de Samcho? Why should it go there? These are not salty waters. These waters are sweet waters. So what's the purpose to flow into those areas? So the Gemara answers, it's not to sweeten the waters. The stream will flow out not to sweeten the waters, but the rabbis the gossam, to multiply, to increase the fish that's there. Lamina tia de gossam. It says Lamina da laminim minim tia de gossam. When we dash lamina, not according to its min, but laminim minim, for many minim, they increase the multitude, the species of fish that will be there also lowly. Tani, we learn in the Brisa, Amru Shim ben Gamliel, Maisa Shalach Tzaidan, I went to Tzaidan, Veheviu Lafana Yosem Yishlosh Meas Mini Dog Matam Poyachad. In one platter, there was more than 300 different types, different species of fish. So you see that that you can find that we do have a certain precedent for that you have a multitude of species of fish in one place. So returning about the nevuah of the waters, it says v'nirpu amayim b'sa'osav ugvoy v'lo yirafu l'melech nitanu. It says the waters will become sweetened, and it says bitzoisav, the swamps, ugvoy, and the pools, and it will be sweetened, and they will be set aside for salt, and l'melech nitanu. So it seems to be a stira in the pasuk. It says v'nirpu mayim, the waters will become sweetened, bitzoisav ugvoy, the swamps and the pools, but it says v'lo yirafu, it will not be sweetened, l'melech nitanu. It'll be used for salt. So how do we reconcile this? So ksiv v'nirpu mayim, v'atam rav lo yirapu mayim, and it says it will not be sweetened. The more answers makamu shmoy v'lo yirapu. There's a place that is called lo yirapu. That place will remain salty. And that place will remain salty because to have the production of salt, so they can have salt. But the other waters will be sweetened. Ksiv, it says, Valanachal yalas valsamizamizeh kol eitz machal. On the sides of the stream will be all types of fruit trees. Lo yibol aleyu v'lo yitam period l'chadosh v'yivakeh. It says that the leaves will not wither and the fruit will not be spoiled. And it says, by its month it will have l'chadoshev. In its month it will have new crops. So it will have over there the leaves that will be fresh, and the fruit, and period of l'chadoshev yivakeh. Tane Amar Yehuda. So what does it mean when it says period l'chadoshev yivakeh? It will yield fruit by its months. What does that mean? So Tane Amar Yehuda lefi shoel mazet fu oisel chadosh. The normal cycle in our times, the natural cycle now, is that crops will grow within 6 months. After Sukkot, there's a new planting of the new crops, and the harvest time is Shuas time. So it's roughly 6 months. And fruit, the fruit trees bear fruit every 12 months. But in the future, the grain will grow in 1 month. And the fruit trees will bear fruit every 2 months. My time, what's the source for saying this? Because the pasuk says, it says that the fruit will grow in 2 months, meaning that the new fruit will grow in 2 months. And we saw previously in that the fruit grows it takes twice as long as the crops. The crops are 6 months. The fruit is 12 months. The fruit will be in 2 months. So the crops, which grow twice as fast, will be in 1 month. Nowadays it's 6 and 12. So the crops, the grain grows half the time that it takes the fruit. In Lasalava Chadosha, the plural of Chadosha, the fruit will grow every 2 months. The crops, half that time, 1 month. Amar Rav Yosi has a different shot. He says there was a different cycle. He says, the crops are in 6 months. The will be different. The Tvua will be in a mere 15 days. And the Ilan, the fruit, will bear every month. Where do we see that? What's the source of that? We found in the time of Yoel, we have a precedent that the crops grew in 15 days, the Karbi Menaimer, and they were able to bring the Karbi Menaimer after that. So in the time of Yoel, there was a terrible plague of locusts of Arbit that destroyed all the crops, and they had no new crops. Now, in the beginning of Nisan, as we'll see in a moment, at the beginning of Nisan, there was the first rain, and then they had the second rain, and by the 15th day of Nisan, they already had the new crops. And on the 16th day of Nisan, they were able to makriv from the new barley, from the new crop, the Minchas HaOmer. So we have this type of a precedent. We see that the crops were at that time 15, and Los Lovai, that's what will be. It'll be in 15 days, and as we said before, the fruit takes twice the amount of time, and therefore the fruit will be in 30 days, 1 month. My time, where do we see this in the pasuk? It says, "The Bnei Tzion will rejoice by Shem Elokechem ki nasan l'chanas hamayra." The mayra is the first rainfall. Moira letzedakah will be for a charity. V'yorei lachem geshem moira umalkosh, the second rainfall. Barishan, all of that in the first month. And from the beginning of Nisan, the first month will be the first rains, the second rain, and the Ramakar of the Karban Ha'imer. So we see it's only 15 days, and the fruit with double that time is 1 month. The passage says l'chadosh, which we darshan previous said that l'chadosh means for 2 months. Then it's l'chadosh of the avakir means that the fruit will be in 2 months. It means not chadosh of every 2 months. It means lechadosh of every month. B'chol chodesh there will be a new crop. From month to month, every new month there will be a new crop. Then it says in the pasuk, the conclusion of the pasuk in Yecheskel says, "V'aleo l'trufa." The leaves will be for healing. Rav Yochanan says that tarpeh metzis aleh. It's food for the person that sucks the leaves. He'll be get nourishment from it. It'll be food for him. Utraf mezayna. The word of traf is mazan. The shorish of traf is mezayna. Hatrifeni lechem chuki. The pasuk in Tehillim says. So therefore, we see that means food. Rav and Shmuel say that a different shot that what the leaves do. One says it will open the mouth of mala, the mouth, meaning a person who has difficulty eating or doesn't have appetite. It will heal, so to speak, open the mouth of mala. The lower mouth, it will heal any digestive problems. Rav Chanina, Rav Yeshua ben Levi, they say a different shot. One says it'll open the mouths of someone who's on a karo, who's barren, who can't have children. It will heal and enable them to have children. The mouth of a person who can't speak, a mute, it will heal the person's mouth.